My name is Steve Babaeko. I'm the CEO of X3M Group. X3M Group is made up of X3M Ideas, X3M Music, 0 Degrees, and a couple of other companies that are still in the works. I said so much about my childhood days that sometimes it feels a little difficult talking about it sometimes. It was really tough growing up. I had a very rough childhood. My parents were very poor. And so I come from one of those humble backgrounds. To be honest with you, if anybody had told me before now that I'll ever run my own business, I would have said get out of here, because it wasn't something that I always wanted to do. But as an employee, one of the things that I really learned that I picked up along the line is that if you work for somebody else, just pretend. Or if you work for somebody else, pretend like you're working for yourself. And I think that was the mentality that got me through my days as an employee, But I also have a flip to that saying: if you work for yourself, you have to pretend you work for someone else. Because today, I do my job like if I don't do it, someone is going to fire me. So that keeps me on my toes. It keeps me on my grind. It keeps me humble, and it keeps me having passion. So, yeah, I had to do the transition because at some point I turned 40 in my life and I wanted to do something else. I started to think way ahead of my time into the future. I mean, what kind of legacy am I going to leave for my children? I mean, am I going to be able to leave a mark in this country? Am I going to be, as an individual, I'm passionate about employment. I'm passionate about creating jobs. So I felt that we could do something in that direction, which is why I had to do that transition. X3M Ideas, when it started, we were about 8 people, I mean, just put a team together. I knew from the one that the most important thing was getting that right team, the right mix, and the right chemistry in the house, and we were able to do that. But again, without access to funding, I really didn't have too much money on my hands. I saved a few bucks, got a piece of loan from my wife, and got money from a couple of people. But we put it together, and then from then on, we kept on going till we are where we are today. Oh, well, like a couple, like most of the startups you have in Nigeria today or any of the developing countries, like I said, access to funding, it's difficult. I mean, I went to Stanford a couple of weeks ago, and the professor was asking me, Steve, can you tell us how many rounds of funding you've raised for X3M Ideas till now? I laughed and I said, a lot. He said, like how many? I said 0. I mean, when you start up something say in America or in San Francisco, anywhere else, venture capitalists with their briefcase are already on standby to jump on it, and if they see potential in it. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen on the continent where I live, at least not so much. So when we started in 2012, it was part of the challenges was raising that fund. Secondly, the cost of even just running business. I mean, you had to buy diesel, you had to buy generator. I mean, those are the kind of overhead costs that people working in maybe first world country will probably not have to carry, Somebody once told me, this kind of business that you do you ever wake up one day, get a brief from a client, and you don't have any idea to do it? What gives you the inspiration to keep bringing ideas? I say, well, my biggest inspiration is that I have a wife and I have 3 children to feed. And especially when you consider that it's school fees season, that idea has to come from somewhere, But on a serious note though, it's just that you have to, the benefit you give to your clients is the fact that you're able to think different. You see, so if the day you stop thinking different, it's the day the game ends for you. I mean, nobody's going to remember what you did last month. In fact, that's too long. Nobody cares about what you did yesterday or the day before. It's about the now. So once you understand that, as a person, as a leader of a team, you drive your team in that direction. We have to keep looking fresh all the time, and that's what we do. When I hear work-life balance, I don't know. I don't even know what that means, because I enjoy my job. I love my job. I think my job is fun. I have the rare privilege to build some of the most beautiful brands in the country, and so for me, my job is fun. Once in a while, I play golf You know, I try and spend time with my kids as much as I can. You know, uh, I play. You know, like we've set up our office as well. You see the snooker table and everything. You know, well, we try and maintain it. But again, we have like a trainer that comes in every Friday. We do something we call Extreme Friday, Fitness Friday. You know, just to try and like get the team fired up and fit and healthy. You know, but beyond that, it's just all about my job. I love my job. Well, I can give you some hints and some tips. I think first and foremost, you need to create a really, really cool brand. You have to know that online is where everybody is headed to. So in terms of like share of voice, if you're doing what everybody else is doing, you're going to get lost in the crowd. It's as simple as that. So, and it's about consistency. So you can't post something today and wait till another week for, I mean, the consumers are there. Once the consumer get a hang of what you're doing, they really follow you. And if it's like, if you don't show up, then they go somewhere else. So it's about building that followership and building it consistently. And quality content is all about content. Content is king. I mean, if you don't have the right kind of content that will make us want to sit up and listen and watch, then it's a waste of everybody's time. Actually, the true test of an entrepreneur is not when things are going well. The true test of an entrepreneur is when things are not going so well. You know, because for entrepreneurship, it's a game of courage. It's a game of passion. There has to be something bigger than you that you're fighting for. You know, you set up a business, it's not so much how much money can I spend, but how much impact can you make on the lives of people, on the life, on your society, or on your community. So it has to be something bigger than you. You know, if you go in it just for the money, you're probably going to fail, because entrepreneurship is not a sprint, it's a marathon. Okay, so are you able to go the distance? You know, so it's not like when the tides become high and you have like really, really major headwind to contend with, you're losing your courage and you're losing your steam. That's the time to double down and fire ahead and move into the next level, you know. So you have to find the courage to do it, you know. It's not, which is why not everybody can be an entrepreneur.